guys. Good evening to all. This evening I'm here again in Glebe, St. George. Just outside of the Glebe Polyclinic and St. George Welfare Office. This is the Glebe Polyclinic here and the St. George Welfare Office. So again, I'm in the parish of St. George, which is in the center of the island. St. George and St. Thomas are the two parishes here in the center of the island. It can best be referred to as the heart of Barbados or the central uplands of Barbados. This is the hill above St. George Parish Church. It can best be referred to as the Rectory Hill because it is where the St. George Rectory is. St. George Rectory is where the priests who serve St. George Parish Church live. So again, St. George and St. Thomas are the two inland parishes here in Barbados, the parishes that have no sea in it. There's an old saying that people from St. Thomas and St. George don't know how to swim. The parish of St. George was carved out of the parish of St. Michael between 1640 and 1641. So St. Michael is the mother parish and St. George was carved out of it. So the former alms house is also at the Glebe Polyclinic as well. So the Glebe Polyclinic will serve those persons living in St. George, both past and present St. George residents. So even if you don't live in St. George anymore, but you were born and raised in the parish, you can also come back there as well. So this is one of the polyclinics here in Barbados, in rural Barbados. Looking back up the hill now. Up the hill now will take you back to Tate Hill, Workman's, Gun Hill, Billy Lion statue, and back to the signal station at Gun Hill as well, and back to Newberry. So you can see the signal station up here, the Gun Hill signal station. On top of the hill, the red building here, which is 700 feet above sea level. It was built in 1818 as a fortress to signal when the enemies were coming in. And it was acquired by the Barbados National Trust in 1982, so it is now a building of historic and architectural interest, and it gives awesome views of the entire island. So up at Gun Hill, you can see all the way down here and into the south of the island. You can see almost 11 parishes. You can see about 6 parishes from the Gun Hill signal station. That's so much. There may be more than 6, but I just will say 6. And you can see the CBC antenna for CBC at Gun Hill St. George as well. CBC is our radio and television station. CBC stands for Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. This guy St. George is my father's birth parish. The parish in which my father and his siblings were born and raised. St. George is... Alright, yeah. So St. George is my father was born and raised St. George, and this is a part of St. George North. My father, those of you who don't know who my father is, Satchmore that sings, that used to sing with the Sand Pebbles group years ago. He used to write songs as well. He wrote What I Gotta Give Me for Christmas. He wrote I Am a Proud Barbadian. He sings them with the Sand Pebbles, and he wrote some songs as well, Beautiful and Unspoiled for Shara Hackett. And he worked for Randy Allen and so on. My father is the same back in the time in Jackson Walker. So yes guys, my father is the same back in the 60s and 70s and so on. So this is St. George North. And my father is from St. George South. Ellerton in that area. Ellerton and Dratson and Greens, and that is St. George South. And this is St. George North, so this is the above part of St. George. Looking back at Gun Hill again. Gun Hill. Yeah. The Gun Hill Signal Station. On top of the hill here. Yeah. Yeah. So the road to the left, the first left turn is Glebe number 5. And the second left turn is Glebe number 6, which will take you back to Fancier Plantation House, the famous Fancier Plantation House with the robbery with Winston Hall. Winston Hall was a famous fugitive, a well-known fugitive who was on the run from 1987 until he was shot by police in 2004. Winston Hall was from the parish of St. Joseph. Even though it was said that he did not do the crime, he was with the person who did the crime, and therefore he was held accountable by the police as well. And he always used to get away. Each time he was held by the police, he always used to get away until 2004, May, when he was shot. Up to Gun Hill again. On that road will take you by the flat rock as well. The left turn will take you by the flat rock. And back to Rowan. And again the Fancier Plantation. And back to Foster Lodge. I think it will take you by the Foster Lodge, all in St. George as well. So the parish of St. George was carved out of the parish of St. Michael, as I said before, carved between 1640 and 1641. So St. Michael is the mother parish and St. George was carved out of it. And again down below at the bottom of the hill will be St. George Parish Church, which is the second oldest place of worship in Barbados. It was built in 1640 and we built in 1641 and we built in 1784. Yes guys, the Glebe Polyclinic and St. George Welfare Office over here. Once again, in rural Barbados, one of the rural polyclinics here in Barbados. Yes guys. As I said before, we are above St. George Parish Church. So this is the hill leading to Gun Hill. From Gun Hill, leading to Gun Hill from St. George Parish Church. So this is the part of the hill. This hill is a pretty long hill, starting from the bottom by the church, by Charles Road Bridge, all the way up to Gun Hill, all through to Newberry. Thanks for watching guys, and have a blessed evening.